Destroy the child. Corrupt them all.
Basically, like, it's pretty much already over for the Kurds, and I got all the details of how, so...
I mean, you
Yeah,
guys
it's-
have been watching this channel. You know we both predicted all of this.
Yeah, how interesting. Last time we talked, because there was no signs that night we were talking about how, like, basically, like, it was all in Turkey's hands. Everything that's happening now, it's out of Assad's hands. Like, Assad could never launch an attack against this, like the YPG, without the Syrian army coming under, like, American air attack. Russia, therefore, could not even push the case. Like, Russia's mercenaries gave it a crack, and they got bombed by the US Air Force. And certainly Iran can't do it without starting a regional war. And it's not going to do that just to get the Kurds specifically in Syria, because the situation isn't that
There
critical
were some
yet.
indirect signs, though. When Trump
Yeah,
started
they'll-
whining
look-
about, oh, I don't want to pay for these prisoners. I'm going to release them on the border and let them go back to Europe where you can recapture them and stuff. You could see him just thinking, this is how Trump is. You know, you have to think like this guy. He wants out. He said when he just like decides something, he's like, I'm going to do it. And Bolton was already gone. He doesn't want to mess with these prisoners. He just doesn't feel like dealing with Obama's messes. And he's like, why are we in Syria? Get out of there. Now, he'll hold on to El Tanf and Deir ez-Zor to prevent Iran from smuggling weapons to Hezbollah, because that's what Israel wants. But he doesn't really owe anything to the Kurds, and Turkey just has a lot more to offer or take away from the United States than Kurds in Syria. And these idiots...
Yeah, well,
And they are not allies of Syria fighting ISIS. They are Kurds that have annexed territory in Syria for themselves, took property away from the people that actually built it, took infrastructure away from the people who built it, started massacring Assyrian Christians, and have been designated as terrorists in the past, by the way, and are affiliated with other terrorist groups in Turkey. I mean,
it's hilarious. The main guy who's leading the anti-North Syria pullout is, no surprise, Lindsey Graham, right? No surprise.
Like,
it's him.
we're betraying
and
them.
He's trying to get
So?
Ted Cruz on his side, and he's trying to get a coalition of, a bipartisan coalition together in Congress to slap sanctions on Turkey for doing it. However, it's funny because he himself 3 years ago said that the YPG was a terrorist organization, and why was the United States alienating Turkey? And why were we making the Turks upset? And the Turks are more important than the Kurds, and America shouldn't be backing affiliated terrorist groups, like the YPG, his own words. And but now it goes to show
ISIS.
you that this guy, yeah, and it just goes to show you that these people are just paid mouths to say whatever the establishment deems
there's no
necessary.
moral
at the
compass
time.
because under the
There
Obama
is
and
no,
Trump
there is no
administration,
conviction as well.
right?
There's
Under
obviously
both
no
admins,
conviction.
Obama started this, but both Turkey and Obama and Trump have covertly supported terrorists in Syria, with ISIS, or al-Sham, al-Nusra, or HTS, whatever. They've all supported them. They've all supported the White Helmets groups and their myths about, Assad gases his own people. Trump shot cruise missiles into Syria, right?
Yeah.
But it's weighing on him. He doesn't want to be George Bush Jr., who he's criticized so much for Iraq War II, the most unpopular war since Vietnam. Vietnam was more unpopular probably because it had a draft. But clearly the war in Iraq was based on lies, and that's what really led to this whole thing. Al-Qaeda in Iraq becomes ISIS, and it's one fumbling blowback after the other for U.S. foreign policy. But he did. It's like he's surrounded by a bunch of warmongering advisors, the Pompeos and Boltons of the world. But he himself is saying, let's just get out of there and let Russia and Syria handle it. But then what happens? Everybody jumps on everybody. You can see the full horseshoe effect from, Bernie Sanders to Ben Shapiro saying, I can't believe you betrayed our Kurds, and right? Left and right.
Yeah,
go
all of a
against them,
sudden,
right?
all these senators, all these nobody senators are going, my Kurds, my Kurds.
Mm-hmm.